What's up, guys? John from Heavyset Tactical here. I'm going to keep this short and sweet, and yes, I am going to hit my vape a few times while we discuss this because it is an uncomfortable topic for me and probably a few others. I, moving forward, will not be answering any Survive-related comments. Am taking a clean break from Survive. I know that's not necessarily fair to some of you that have thousands of dollars in pre-orders. But it's my step I'm taking for my own mindset and my own health and everything. I went out to Survive with a potential $75,000 investment because I was told and showed that that would be enough to turn things around tenfold. That we could probably do it with less, but that was my number to buy a percentage of Survive knives. What that percentage was still in being talked about as we went along, which it was between 20 and 30%. So I went out to Survive, my father and I originally went out to just see the shop, do a tour, talk to Guy, because I ran into him with a friend of mine named Frank down at Edgeworks in Maryland, which is a knife store that Guy sells to pretty regularly. So I went down there with Frank from What's the Point EDC, and I met Guy for the first time, which was weeks before I had joined the team at Survive. So for those of you that think this has been some long hatched plan, it's not. So I'd like to also so I meet Guy down there. I come up, and I was going there just to learn about his processes, and because I was a big fan of Survive knives. And then the one night he was extremely upset and talked to me about needing potential investment to get back on track because he was at his wit's end of Survive. So that's when I went home. I talked to my old man. I said, "Hey, maybe we could help him, and I could get into the knife world." And use that as an excuse as my entrance into the knife world, which you guys know from my channel and my collection and my love of knives. I want nothing more than to be able to have a career in the knife world, but that's very hard these days. Most places that are successful are either very small batch custom makers on Instagram, like Alexander Drawn, AD Knives. He's one of my favorite makers in the world, probably my favorite custom knife maker. And then you guys got guys like Steve Kalari Customs, Steve Kalari. And then big places like Reef Knives, Benchmade, Tops Knives. And sadly, you're not going to get that attention to detail, fit and finish, and that level of amazing quality and really perfect hand-picked blanks. And the problem is that this is not feasible to have a well-ran company. You cannot take the time that they took on each knife to make it this perfect with thousands of pre-order. You cannot do it. It takes too much time. Guy kept thinking he could just work his way around this. And I'll get to that a little later. I'm trying to keep this short, but there's so much to talk about. We'll probably do a part 1 and a part 2. But Guy is not a monster. This is the last of the new finishing process. This is the last GSO6 in the Delta Protocol 3V from Pete's Heat Treat. Guy made this for me because I told him the first knife I ever held of his was a GSO6. So Guy and Mike, his main machinist, they found we were looking through some old boxes and found one single Delta 3V GSO6. And my birthday was May 17th, about 2 weeks till. And Guy took the time to run this through the process and make it for me for my birthday. So Guy is not a monster by any means. But there's a lot there. So I just use that as an example. This is not going to be a bashing Guy. I do not wish ill will on Guy. But the way he has handled things has been just absurd, and it's very upsetting. So I went out there to invest and be a partial owner. And in doing so, I wrote an initial check for $30,000. And in doing so, I was able to get collateral of a piece of equipment. So I used a piece of CNC equipment as collateral for my $30,000 investment. So I then helped Ellie, who was Guy's ex-wife, kind of reorganize things, and we tried endlessly to find ways around and make some videos and think of new ideas for selling. Because guys, when I went in there, you got to think about this. When I went in the door, they had $0 in their bank account and negative in their personal accounts. And this is not to bash anyone or give out any information that's sensitive. I want you to know how bad things were when I got there. And I was aware that they were bad, but I did not know how bad. So, long story short, Ellie, who I ended up becoming friends with, we had a lot of FaceTime in the shop together on a day-to-day basis, and we became pretty good friends. Ellie was the one that saved me from really getting in the hole financially with Survive. And she came to me before we were going to sign the rest of that $75,000 over and told me that she didn't feel comfortable unless I saw the numbers that she recalculated and found, which were bad. So guys, I need you to understand, I go in there and they have no money and a $4,000 knife backlog and no money, zero. So they made enough extra EDC4s where their plan was to just sell EDC4s while they worked on backlog. So half and half. 5 knives go out for pre-orders that day. 5 knives go out for new incoming financial support that day. So essentially that was the plan. So I knew that things were bad, but I didn't know how bad. And so I went in the door, we started revitalizing things, and there were so many times that Ellie and I pulled our hair out because we could not get Guy to consistently work hard. He would do about 2 days and then fall off and get overstressed and be sucked into social media and this and that for 3 days. So 2 days of hard work, nonstop grinding, and then boom, he would do literally, he would come up to us 3 or 4 times a day. Oh, I'm just going to take a walk. And he'd be out for an hour. Doing what? I have no idea. So we had months of this, about a month and a half of this kind of like, how do we get Guy to kick into overview? So guys, throughout all the processes to make a Survive knife, Guy had to touch it at the beginning to do pre-grinding down to the thickness he wanted. He had to touch it at the middle for finish grinding and blasting the blades and blasting the handles for microtexturing, and at the end, which was sharpening. He had a hard time giving up responsibilities because he had to touch each blank too many times. You can't do that many knives and that much work to get these knives done. So guys, this whole time I'm there are piles and piles and boxes of finished sheaths, handle materials, and cases and cases and pallets and pallets and tables of blanks. GSO 12s, GSO 10s, GSO 47s, GSO 51s in Magna Cut. And I'm there for almost a month, and these aren't getting touched, looked at, assessed, counted, nothing. So you got to understand that this company had zero managerial oomph throughout the whole 10 years. They never managed well. There was 3 or 4 times when they ran into the ground financially. They got lucky or opened pre-orders again, got money in, and boom, now they're okay for another 2 months. But every time we would get a little bit of sales, Guy would relax and be like, okay, well, I just got to stay caught up with Mike and Matt on the CNC machines and do as much as they need me to do, and we'll be okay. And he would relax, and he would kind of work an hour or two here, hour or two there, come and go. It was very, very upsetting. So then we get to the point of we can't do this anymore. These customers, Guy said all the time, this is about the customers. It's about the customers, about the customers. I spoke to Mike, who doesn't want to be mentioned, doesn't want to have his face in anything, and you guys have never seen his face because he doesn't want to be in any pictures. And I understand that. Mike's a great guy. Mike is a great friend, great man. I lived with Mike for a little while. He has my stamp of approval in anything, any venture. Mike is one of the most solid, sweetest people I've ever met in my life. And he was kind of at the mercy of Guy and Ellie because he moved out here and bought a home throughout this process. So he just kind of kept his head buried in his work and just did what they told him to do. And Mike is not at fault here. Neither is Matt. Matt was just a young guy around here that was doing some CNC running for Mike, under Mike, kind of. There were many times where Ellie and I commiserated and pulled our hair out because we could not get Guy to focus. And Guy will still watch this, I'm sure, at some point and freak out and think I'm cursing him, which I'm not. I'm very calm. This was a heartbreaking experience. Survive Knives has been my favorite manufacturer for many years now. And the first knife I ever held of theirs was a GS06. I think, personally, head-to-head, that these are more comfortable, more functional, and functionable. More functional, more comfortable, and more well thought out than 99% of the knives out on the market, especially for the price. But every time I showed Guy a knife that I would get from another company that would send me something, a reef knife, a Work Tough Gear knife, he'd shake his head and, oh, this is trash, and oh, this is trash. And I would stop him, and every single time I would say to him, Guy, I can order one of these knives and get it like that. I can't get one of these. These are amazing, but I can't get it. They can't get it. So you can't say that. Because when you look at the triangle of a good knife company, a big piece of that triangle is availability and purchasability and, so make a long story short, this is not a bash video. Guys, I lived out there for months with these people, and Guy and I got very close very quickly. I lived in the shop with Guy for a while before I moved into Mike's. And every single day, it was me and Ellie flipping a coin trying to figure out which Guy we were going to deal with today. Was it going to be Guy that's erratically upset about personal things and social media comments and this and that and walking out every 5 minutes? Or is it going to be Guy that doesn't say a word and works all day long phenomenally? So Ellie, she was the organization, Guy was the shop. But the problem with that I ran into over and over again was that Ellie, sadly, I don't think either she couldn't implement the plans that she kept planning to plan, or that she was just exhausted with the relationship stuff. I mean, she's Guy's ex-wife, working there every day with him. They're them fighting here and there and blah, blah, blah. So it'd be hard for anyone to kind of be 100% all the time in that scenario. So I'm not going to fault her for that. But when I looked at the overall debt, which I'm not going to give exact numbers here, I don't think going that personal is very appropriate. But the amount of personal and financial or personal and business debt that they had, it appeared to me that two kids in high school running a company that have never ran a company in their life and just ran it into the ground over and over again and kept taking out predatory lending and blah, 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 and mistakes after mistakes. They never had that. That's what it looked like. Two high school kids get a knife company and run it for 10 years into the ground, into the ground, into the ground. That's what it looked like to me financially. It was crazy. And we just kept finding landmines and more letters from the state saying that people aren't getting their orders. So, needless to say, Scab from Choir Boys Cutlery, Gabe from The Last Huntsman, Jacob Peterson. Jacob Peterson is one of the most solid, truth-based, fact-based people on social media. And he is a friend of mine, and I appreciate him and Gabe from The Last Huntsman. Gabe is a very, very good man, very good friend. Gabe's been with me since the beginning on my channel. All those people, they started putting out content, and a little bit. I mean, there was a few videos they put out, and then Jacob did a discussion video on Survive, hoping Survive got better because I was out there, because I truly thought that's what was going to occur. I mean, we got 1,000 pre-orders out probably that would never. Guy cannot attest to this. Guy walked up to me several times and told me that if I didn't come be that stone that got thrown into the water to ripple it so they could see clearly how bad things were, that none of these knives would have got out the door. The amount of emails that Ellie and I took that switched orders that people were never going, we knew people would never get them, so can we switch you to this order, and boom, now you got your order fulfilled and reimbursed for the deficit in price. Hundreds. Oh my God. I also personally sent out knives that I have bought, when I first went out there and started hanging out, I was buying all kinds of knives from Guy that he had laying around, blah, blah, blah. I probably bought 10 knives from him, 15 knives from him. So sadly, I've sent out probably $2,000 in knives for free to some of the customers that I felt bad were sucked into this and had huge pre-orders, just trying to make a dent. Guys, this has affected me so much more than I ever thought possible, because I've been that guy watching guys' updates, freaking out because I have pre-orders in MagnaCut, now what's happening, blah, blah, blah. And I really thought that we could change things, that this was not some blind, let's give it a try, oh, it might fail, let me jump out now. No, we ran our shoes bloody. We ran as hard as we could, 7 days a week, living in the shop. Oh my God. But like when we first got out there, my dad and I go in the shop, and Guy hadn't showered. Guy was not showering, was not bathing at this point. So, and we felt terrible for him. And I said, shit, I'll move into the shop and we'll build a shower right in the corner of the shop. So me and my dad went to Lowe's. We bought $480 worth of supplies, materials. And we built a goddamn shower and put a whole shower unit that comes, 3 plexiglass faces, and boxed it in with walls and threw that son of a gun right in the corner of the shop. So, the care was there, the friendship was there, our drive was there, and then every day it was, which guy are we dealing with today? Now, this is not all Guy's fault. That's not what I'm saying. And I think Guy knows that even though he has been devious at the end and has very much upset me personally in the end, I'm still not attacking him. I know at least 50% of this. 50% is mental health, his mental health, and his autistic, whatever the hell you want to call it, going on, because, it's hard to say. Granted, when I started with Survive, I was warned by all these old manufacturers in Guy's history not to join, and they told me exactly what was going to happen, and it happened. So I hate to say it, maybe half of it is Guy, okay? But I know at least half of it is his mental health. I know his mental health is horrific. So, stupid thing, I know. So, make a long story short, what's happening now? At the end of this, I got to a point where we're done. There is nothing we can do. We cannot outrun these bills. We had $50,000 almost a month, about $48,000 a month going out. and we sold $1,000 a week in knives. How the hell could anybody do that? Nobody. And this is with us pushing videos. And so we got to a point where, Ellie was like, look, you guys have a month to show me that we can do this, or I'm out. And I don't blame her for that. But it was the fact that we couldn't get Guy to be continuously productive until it was the very end. Then, Ellie says that towards the end of her month that she gave us, her and I are just tapped out. We can't deal with. I had to delete the social media apps on Guy's phone for 2 or 3 weeks because he would not get off of it, and I took over social media. I mean, that's how bad it was. That's why I just started showing up on Instagram for a while. So again, this is not a bashing Guy Seaford video. I wish Guy all the luck in the world. I would really like him to find some happiness. But the way he has handled things at the very end of this is disgraceful. It is terrible that me, someone that's been with a 10-year company for less than 6 months, has to be the one to tell you guys that Survive is officially over. And it's upsetting to me that I have to tell you that, because he won't tell you that. I don't know. He's been silent for weeks. He changed the locks. He screwed the windows shut. Mike went in and tried to talk to him, and I guess he had changed the locks. So Guy has blocked me on social media. Before I even spoke to him, he blocked me on Instagram, changed the Instagram passwords. And I haven't spoken to Guy for about a week since we had a little bit of a blowout when I saw him at a restaurant. Guy walked into a restaurant with Ellie, and I was sitting there with Mike having a drink. And he had the audacity to walk in and not even acknowledge that I was there. Because, guys, I'm sorry. And Guy, I'm sorry. But when you aren't of value to Guy and Survive, you might as well mean nothing. I was of no value anymore because I wasn't writing a check again. I wasn't giving any more money, and I was just the guy that knew the very basics of the manufacturing side of it, and building and shipping, and he could do that stuff himself. So he didn't need me anymore. So Guy cast me aside weeks ago in a very, very harsh manner. And Guy, I don't think, knows how hurtful he is as a man, as a friend. I very much live by that code of honor. I'm very loyal, but this is a whole different thing that I've never encountered in a male friend before. So make a long story short, now Guy has cast me, Ellie, Mike, all out to the wind, changed the locks, barred the doors, in a paranoid kind of have to keep everything secure. I know that he was speaking to somebody in Harrisburg, I believe, about buying all his assets in the shop so he could pay his debt, his shop debt, which, again, I'm not giving exact numbers, but it's in the multiples of hundreds of thousands in total. So Guy is selling all the machinery to pay for his shop debt, then filing personal bankruptcy, I'm sure, at the end of this, because he's still going to owe tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars. But when I left, we had 3,500 pre-orders unfinished. And again, I'm going to talk about the stacks and stacks and pallets of the 12s, the 10s, the 8s, the 4.5s, the 4.7s, the 5.1s. I mean, guys, we are talking $600,000, $500,000 in finished knives that it would be, and these are all blanks and stacks as far as the eye could see. And in his videos, I went back through his videos months and months before I got there, and in every video, all the stacks of blanks haven't moved or been cycled through or changed thickness or changed color pattern. So Mike said to me that he said to Guy, at the end of every day, just grind one table, which is about 6 knives. Grind one table of the GSO 10s. That's one table, 5 of them at the end of every day. And after a week, you'll have 35 of them, 40 of them, whatever fits on a table. So boom, 2 weeks, you have 100 of them to blast, build, and send out. Because again, guys, I don't even want to say this because it's gonna, again, this is gonna bring up even more drama. I don't want any of this drama in my life. I am putting this video. So what I was gonna say was that half of these, not half the pre-orders, but a large amount of the pre-orders are already in that shop. They just need blasted, tumbled, and built. And then we had a big debt to the plastics company, and I look around and there are boxes and boxes stacked waist high of sheaths for the 6s, sheaths for the neckers, sheaths for the 3.5s, for the GSO4s, for sheaths, boxes and boxes, tens of thousands of dollars of sheaths everywhere. And we owe the plastics company tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars in debt to them. And all that money is sitting over there in boxes because what? And again, this is not bashing Guy, but I think Guy has an issue with not being able to work on what's in front of him. He's always looking at that next exciting new thing that they're doing. And that's understandable. He has mental health stuff, and again, I could say that till the cows come home, but this is realistically where we're at. You guys that still have pre-orders out with Survive, Survive's done. He might get a handful out somehow. He was talking about pivoting and downsizing, and he's just going to work on them by himself. Guys, I'm sorry. We had all the financial support we could get, and 5 capable people, and we couldn't even put a dent in it. So Guy by himself isn't doing shit. I'm sorry. Survive's over. And that saddens me greatly. And the only reason I'm putting this video out is not to slander Guy. If I saw Guy tomorrow, I got pissed at him at that restaurant, and I stormed out, and haven't heard from him for weeks. But I would not say one word to Guy if I saw him right now. He hurt me as a friend, as a coworker, as a business partner, if you will. And now I know why he was willing to give my dad and I such a huge percentage for such a small amount of money, because he knew it wasn't worth shit unless we saved it. So, again, this is not Ellie's fault or Guy's fault. This is both of their fault. But a lot more of the fault is Guy. I hate to say it. Guy had the final say. Guy had 80% of the work on each knife was on Guy. So I'm sorry. And the entire company was in his name. He didn't ever have Ellie put her name on anything. I think he was trying to protect her. I don't know what. But guys, this company has been mismanaged for 10 years and ran into the ground over and over again. And they kept buying themselves out and buying themselves out of trouble until the cows came home. Then moved across the country. And, if you look at the average price on 3,500 pre-orders, guys, I have a few people that are in contact with me right now that have $5,000 worth of orders from Survive. I don't know why or how they put in such big orders, but they sent me proof of it. So I'm selling them and giving them shit and trying to help with just a little bit of that. This has affected me in such a way. My channel, guys, my channel is harassed all day long. I am always going to be the guy, one of the Survive guys that fucked everyone over. Screwed everyone over. Even though I had nothing to do with screwing all you guys over. I am the reason probably 1,000 people got their stuff. And this company never had that come to Jesus moment. Like, look, this is how bad shit is. Can we just be open with each other? And Mike and Ellie were so afraid of upsetting Guy. Guy was afraid of upsetting Mike and Ellie. I don't know what it is. It was a perfect storm of people that had zero communication. And Guy was just like in his crazy little world. Oh, I'm just going to work on this as long as I can. And then boom. Oh, well, you didn't have to work on that because this needs done. Oh, boom. Hit a corner, hit a wall, can't pay it. Borrow money. It's just been a nightmare. Ugh. But to think of 3,500 people not getting their orders, and 3,500 people that half of which are serious Survive fans that deserve a goddamn definitive answer. I think if you ask anyone, I have tried to help everyone as much as I could, and my personal number has gotten out into the Survive community. I get harassed, get my channel blown up, get my email blown up. Guys, I will never escape this, and I don't think I deserve any of it. I really don't, but I understand why it's occurring. I asked for this by joining this thing that I didn't know at the time had this much crazed and this much craziness and this much drama surrounding it in the knife community, but I knew what I was getting into, and I thought if we could come back hard and get all the pre-orders done by the end of the summer and hit Blade Show next year and have some new designs, and it would have been really great. So I want you to know that I tried everything in my power, sleepless nights, 7 days a week, pushing Ellie, pushing Guy, pushing Mike, trying to do this. I wasn't perfect by any means. Oh my God. Weekends I was hungover because I was so stressed all week. I'd go out Friday, Saturday, whatever. I'm not perfect in any way. But I did try, and I've tried still to make it up to a few of those guys that have enormous, immensely huge orders with Survive still. So the fact that I have to give this finality and these final words makes me sick, but I just need you guys to understand that Survive's done. And Guy is pivoting somehow, but has locked the doors and won't let us in to know what the hell's going on. Cast us aside in a brutal fashion, and thinks in his head right now, I'm sure watching this, that nothing's wrong. But he hurt me in a lot of ways, hurt Mike in a lot of ways, hurt Elliot in a lot of ways. And if I were to ask him right now, he would look me dead in the face and say, well, why are you affected by what I do? Or some very cold, calculated, robotic answer. I don't hate Guy. And Guy, if you're watching this, I wish nothing but the best for you. I really do. I know your struggles, and I know you were dealing with relationship stuff, your grandma dying stuff, financial stuff. He was buried. And guys, this is not all Guy's fault. It's really not. It was a perfect storm of a lot of things happening incorrectly with a business. So where we're at now is Survive's dead, and I hate that I have to be the one to put this end of the road video up. But yeah, Survive's dead, and I still am greatly upset by that. There are some Survive knives that I will hang on to and I will be buried with, like this 6. Because there are some knives, man, that are so good. Oh man, and some of the new stuff Guy was working on was so beautiful. Guys, Guy Seifert is a savant. And when I was in there working, Mike used to tell me that Guy could spot when we would get knives out from bevel grinding out of the CNC machine and go to check them with calipers, instruments to check how far the width of this flat panel is on either side here, to check this width here. Mike used to tell me that Guy could see with his naked eye if one side was off by 1 thou. A single human hair is 3 thou thick, 3/1000ths of an inch thick. And Guy used to be able to spot it if it was off by 1 or 2 thou. He is a savant. God made Guy Seifert to design and perfect processes and knives, I believe that. But you cannot just focus on one aspect of a multifaceted company. And that's why Survive died. So again, to those people with orders out, I still have one pre-order with Survive, but to those people with orders out, I need you to understand that Ellie and I tried everything. Everything. I even thought about taking a business loan out and buying out $300,000 of potential debt. just to buy it and restart. But with 3,500 pre-orders, my dad and I kept looking at that number. And on average, a $286 is like the average of Survive knife prices. That's $1 million plus. That's $1 million. Where is all of that money? How have we possibly ended up here? And for you guys that think Guy or Ellie has a bank account with $500,000 in it or $100,000 in it, you're out of your mind. I know them. I know them. They are both broke. This is not like they have some secret exit strategy. They are both broke. So Guy is not getting it out of this with anything to his name. Guy does not have a car, an apartment, a house, a cat, a dog. He literally the other day, I was told that last week, Guy literally gave his dog away. So I don't know if he's planning to take his backpacking trip through East Asia or whatever the hell he thinks he's going to do. But yeah, it's unfortunate the way this has gone down, and I wish Guy was sitting here telling you this, or we were doing it together. You know, look, this is what happened. This is manufacturing. Things happen. We were mismanaged for a decade. This is what happened. Blah, 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 blah. But I'm sorry I rambled on way longer than I thought I was going to. This is a sore subject for me. But, you know, I will do my best to answer any questions on this video specifically. But to those of you that are paying trolls to attack me and my channel and call my number all night in the middle of the night, I get calls. I'm over it, and I'm not going to keep entertaining it. This is the end of the road for Survive, and I am detaching from Survive. I'm continuing my channel. I'm going to continue to make some custom knives in the barn and try to heal from this and learn from this and move on. So I'm really sorry, guys, but anyone will tell you, including Jacob Peterson, who had the proof, I did everything that I could. Gabe from the Last Huntsman channel will tell you I did everything I could. And all those guys that put out videos, you know, they weren't getting paid to put out videos. It wasn't, you know, they weren't getting paid by me to help sucker them into sucking their people's money out for order. No, so leave them guys alone. They are fantastic American men who do what they do for the love of the knives and the love of testing them and enjoying the products that they test. And they are good people. And Scab from Choir Boys Cutlery is one of the finest people out there. He has been supportive and helpful. But yeah, there's some shady shit going on at Survive now, and I don't want any part of what is going to occur. I've been blocked by Guy, shut out, locks changed, windows screwed shut and bolted shut. And all of us that were in this with Guy have been cast out in a horrific way, in every facet of the term. So guys, I'm really sorry for this. I hope this sheds a little bit of light. I know I bounced all around. I'm just a little emotional when it comes to this. Maybe I'll clean it up and do some bullet points and do a part 2. I'm not sure. I just want this to be over. So I hope you guys have a great day. Those of you with orders out, my heart goes out to you. I tried everything I could. And those of you that got your orders and spoke to me on the phone while I fixed your orders and got them sent out to you, I hope you're enjoying your knives. And, you know, I'll see you guys around. I'm very sorry for all of this. It has affected me in a big, big way. And I got comfy. I was going to buy a house out in Gettysburg. I got comfy out there. Loved it. Little conservative town, clean, no homeless people. It was great. It reminded me of like Colorado Springs a little bit. A lot of great hiking, great lakes, great fishing. I loved it out there and fell in love with Gettysburg and helping turn Survive around and blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't given accurate numbers the whole way through. There were several times where it's like, look, this is how bad it is. Now here's the real numbers kind of thing. So it was never a straightforward game. So please don't judge me very harshly. And as far as Ellie and Mike go, I don't think anybody knows Mike, but as far as Ellie goes, you know, leave her alone. She's been through the ringer with this whole endeavor, and you know, I do not place any of the blame on her. And to Guy, if you watch this, I hope you didn't find it too overcritical or oversharing, but these guys deserved some goddamn finality, some facts, some this is what's happening now, and I couldn't take reading these comments anymore of all this shit. So, wish you the best of luck. Everybody that still has pre-orders out, please know, I have lost sleep for months, weeks over this, and I will continue to lose sleep for weeks over this because I wasn't able to fix it. But I tried. I tried everything. So I'm sorry, guys. Thank you very much, and like always, stay safe and stay heavy.